It was very exciting. During the Holy Year, a number of us had worked together. We kind of found ourselves coming together in the different projects leading towards the World Congress, and after that, the Parliament of the World's Religions. And towards the end of every time we came together, we always were saying, we need to come and spend time with each other, just to be together, just to embrace, not with an agenda, not to be judging, not to do anything specific, but just to love each other. And from that, we began to plan our gathering. And from the gathering, of course, being women, came projects. And one of those projects, of course, was the Sister to Sister Travel Teaching Project.
You know, we always live our life just over there. Mm-hmm. If this is what you're doing, and it's like right in your face. Whole lot has answered your prayer. And this is what he's taken, what you've done, and this is what he's done with it. You know, because you were just the seed. And I mean, when you realize that, I don't even have any words to explain, you know, how it makes you feel. That
Exactly. The first group of sisters were very fortunate in that they actually got to meet with the members of the Universal House of Justice and ask questions and get guidance for the future groups that would go. In subsequent groups, we have met with the International Teaching Center, and it would seem that our beloved Kaiser Barnes has, he and Mrs. Lincoln have become the counselors more or less in charge of the Sister to Sister project. So when we go now to Africa, instead of going after we've finished our trip, we now go before so that we can get this, specific desires and goals from the International Teaching Center on where we should go, what should be the things that we should bear in mind. Frequently we will study the Rizwan letter that was sent to Africa so that we will be in harmony with the desires of the Universal House of Justice during our sojourn.
They are all members of the Baha'i Faith. It is the Baha'i Faith that brought them together. It is the Baha'i Faith that has brought them to Lesotho. And they have come to Mofedi to see you and their Baha'i friends.
The very first group of sisters, they were so brave and courageous because when they chose to get up and go, of course it was before the House of Justice wrote the Rizwan letter. It was 2 years before that, and it was right after the fall of apartheid. It was right after the martyr of the three Persians who were at the Baha'i Center in East London, and they got up, packed their bags, crammed into combi vans, and traveled along the roads and the highways driven by Bonnie Moore, whose idea the project was in the first place, all over South Africa. They actually went into the homelands and they visited Lesotho, and they met the Queen of Lesotho, and they went into the villages and met the children and the men and the women of this wonderful country.
A lot of fun. You guys relax. This is home. All right. Now, I want to know.
homeland.
You guys call yourselves sister.
Sister
Yes,
to
sister
sister.
to sister.
Oh, sister to sister. Why is that?
Well, we are a group of African American women,
Uh-huh.
referring to ourselves as sisters.
Okay.
And we are here to make connections with our African sisters here
Oh,
on
yeah.
the continent.
Okay.
A group of us got together probably 2 years ago now, originally, and wanted to know what we could do, to find out about Africa. And the first group of women came last year. They decided the only way to find out was to come and see. And we plan from now on this to be an annual group of women. And the one thing that is cohesive about all of us is that we are members of the Baha'i Faith.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole premise of the Baha'i Faith is the unity of mankind. So that is our center, our core, you can say.
Yes.
Your performance tonight, let's go to that. And what can people expect?
Well, you can expect a sample of gospel music, which usually has a Christian theme, and since we're Baha'is, it's going to have a Baha'i theme, but it'll be that style of music. You'll also expect to hear some quotations from the Baha'i Faith, and then a very special treat, a dramatization of a story that we think has implications for especially people of color, I think, all over the world.
Are you talking? Yeah. Are we talking about instilling some pride?
Empowerment.
How
did you know?
Yes.
All right, here you go.
He's in tune.
Power to the people.
We've been talking to just one person here, and I'm sure that a whole lot of other people would like to come in and say hi. Who would you like to say hi to?
You
got
know what?
Friends around you?
It's exciting to me, Dixie, that you are so much in tune, and you've only met us a few moments ago. But you're so in tune with what we're dealing with. We said nothing about exactly what the nature of the dramatization is going to be, yet you must be the spirit that's in here. You felt it.
Yeah.
Right?
We have come to sing praises to our Lord. We have come to sing praises to our Lord. Allahu Akbar, Yahweh Akbar. We have come to sing praises to our Lord. Sing praises. This is the eagles who thought they were chickens. Once there was a vast and beautiful land, rich in culture and heritage. This land was ruled by a fair and just king. At the right hand of the throne of the king lied an eagle. One day, the slave ships came. And they captured the people of this kingdom and took them onto the slave ship. They also captured the great eagle. That one day you will come to understand your history and culture, for your destiny lies in the sky. So the great eagle joined the boy and girl eagle. And to this day, there are eagles flying all over the world, telling other eagles about the dream.
You know that we're from the Zomarian Walker Project, Sister Project, so you have some background about us. You do know also that there are Baha'is. And we'd like to offer this to the mayor. We'd like you to receive it on behalf of the mayor of the town. And it's called The Prosperity of Humankind. This is a Baha'i document that we'd like to share with you.
Wait, yeah, hold it up.
Listen.
Martin and Goethe Eif, this magnificent German couple, met Shoghi Effendi in person, sat in their house in Germany, were told that they and their 5 children should pack up lock, stock, and barrel and leave Germany and go to a place they'd never been before, to Africa. They became the first pioneers to Namibia. And their presence there is so entwined in the history of the Baha'i community. When you go south, almost to the Angola border, you will find the Eifs. They have established a social and economic development project that is phenomenal, where he trains the African people to work with a skill that the world will accept. One of the things that he shared with us was his impressions of Shoghi Effendi
we said it to Ruikan, and then she said, you made Shoghi Effendi very happy. And you know what happened? One evening, Shoghi Effendi looked very, very tired, and he went out a little far down after the lunch, and after the dinner. And then I stood in the corner of this room and asked Rui Khanum, doesn't the guardian feel well? And she broke out in tears.
And she said, you know, it's the friends, it's the Baha'is which are not obeying, which are not doing what they are supposed to do, which make Shoghi Effendi sick.
Now, which kills him, she said. Which killed, you know, Martin, what killed Shoghi Effendi? It's the Baha'is which are not listening to him. And I realize now, being so many years pioneering and seeing what we are doing, how inobedient we, how careless we are sometimes, I understand it today. This is my biggest wish, you know. My biggest, that is what I'm always feeling. Please, Shoghi Effendi, make him happy.
In 1995, when we had just about completed our stay in Namibia, we had gone out for a week and a half in the combi van being driven by Tate Halifa Nufunde, who is one of the oldest indigenous Baha'is of the area. He tells this wonderful story about when he used to go in the bush to learn about the faith so that there would not be repercussions with the white families because it was against the law for black and white to meet.
So now we have to meet under the cover of the night, and then we have to go out in the bush. The first place we went to is where now Pioneers Park is. It was bush. There was not even a house there. It's just bush. Now we go and hide in there and go and sit in the car and take a torch and then read the scriptures. And then for 3 days we don't meet. And then for the 4th day we can meet again. Now we don't go to the same place again, we go to a different direction. That's why I said I am so blessed to be in a group like this today. You know, I didn't even expect that.
We came back into Windhoek to find out that dear Sandy had contacted all of her friends in Windhoek, and these wonderful ladies had brought their favorite dresses over to her house because we had an engagement to perform at the Parliament House that night. So we picked our clothes, we went home, we got spiffy clean, and we went to the Parliament House dressed like our ancestors in the African clothes for our final performance in Namibia.
We have a group of women who are traveling around Namibia and South Africa who call themselves Sister to Sister. They knew they were going to learn many things, but they had no idea at how much it was going to be and how deep it was going to be. And all I can say is, from seeing them in the very first days with faces full of excitement, glowing with excitement, now I see faces that are glowing with understanding, that are glowing with friendship, that are glowing with a new resolve to continue the work that they set out to do.
Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything will be all right.
Just a little while after our very first gathering of December 1993, Sandy Chitendero, who is the wife of the Speaker of the House of Parliament of Namibia, happened to be traveling through Chicago and had a brief layover. And she gave me a call and asked if I could pick her up at the airport, which I was glad to do. It was early in the morning, about 6 o'clock. And I was excited because I had been to the first gathering. And I began to tell her a little bit about what was happening with the women here in the United States. And I looked over and she was in tears. And I asked her, once she regained her composure, did I say something to upset her? And she said that she had had a dream some many years ago. And in that dream, she had seen her African American sisters all together saying prayers. And they were in a space that didn't have definition. And there was a doorway with a bright light that was coming out of it. And we were praying. And she says she knows now that this was a gathering. And that the reality of it was that it was the beginning of us traveling to Africa to spend time there and to develop a corridor that would go back and forth to Africa with regular trips to teach.
We appreciate your coming and then your performance, and especially the message that God will guide us and you will protect us, and that there should be peace, and He is Almighty, and He is, if you have His protection, then you will be powerful. So that's what I have been listening to. I am it was good for my ears. I really enjoyed it.
During a concert, we met a man by the name of Mr. Thomas. We didn't know it at that time, but this dear gentleman had been an intimate friend of Stephen Biko. After our concert, he invited us to travel to the township to visit some of the grave sites of the freedom fighters. We did at that time have the opportunity to interview Mr. Thomas, and from that point we went to visit the gravesite of Mr. Stephen Biko.
Because what they did to him is something terrible. They then they put him into a van, I believe. And he's naked, got into a van. And they knew that he would not make it because the way they instituted punishment, unnecessary punishment of the protest. And nevertheless, he didn't make it. He died. They just threw his body in a cellar. I will not understand.
After that time, we went to East London, and we held another fireside and concert in East London. We were really excited to see Mr. Thomas arrive because he had Mrs. Biko with him. She enjoyed the fireside tremendously and insisted that the sisters make time to travel to her home to meet herself and her children, her entire family, because she wanted to entertain us and to cook a barbecue for us.
He is the Prince of Peace, the Prince of Peace. He is the Prince of Peace, the Prince of Peace. He is the Prince of Peace. He is the King of Kings.
When I heard the Reagan message, it meant quite a bit to me. I felt like it's time for me to get up and do something. And I didn't feel like I was ready, but I was encouraged that now's the time. And I obeyed. I did. And I'm glad I did. I went to Africa because I wanted to go. I wanted to find out things, know things, learn something, and to teach the Baha'i Faith to anybody who wanted the information. Now, on going there, at first, I thought we weren't accepted. They wondered why we were there. Why are you here? I told them, we're here to learn about our ancestors. That is part of my heritage, and maybe I can learn something from you. So then they were receptive. There were 3 of us, 3 different ages. I was the oldest. I was 86 at the time, still am. And the Marion Barnes was 72. And then we had Lolita Amos, who was 34. First place we stopped at Africa was, we landed in Windhoek. And there we met the McFadden's. And they took us to the Baha'i Center there, National Center. And from there on, we were in Namibia.
I think the only difference between a Baha'i and perhaps someone who is a Christian is as a Baha'i, we are taught that we must love you and that we must love the Muslim who believes in Muhammad, and we must love the Jew who believes in Moses.
Last summer in 1996, when the ladies were at the International Teaching Center, Consular Barnes suggested that if it was at all possible that the sisters should try to go even more frequently than once a year. So we had two courageous ladies who arose in the dead of winter to go to Africa. They were embraced by Beverly Collins in Nairobi, Kenya. And these two ladies were Betty Jane Walker and Mary Helen Brown. I can't say enough because both of them were older ladies and not physically completely well, but they wanted to do this if they never did anything else in their lives. They felt that they had to arise to fulfill the wishes of the Universal House of Justice. And they went to Nairobi. And they left all the tears of joy throughout all of Nairobi. We've gotten the most lovely letter back from their visit from the Continental Pioneering Committee in Africa. I really hope that every person, especially of African heritage, who views this tape will be inspired to do whatever they can to fulfill the goals, the desires, the wishes of the guardian. Shoghi Effendi is with us. He's watching, he's waiting, because I know that we can make his desires, his dreams come true.